All right, boys and girls, for today's video, since the end of Destiny 2 is coming, I thought it'd be only fitting to do some last minute tier lists of some of the most important things in Destiny. Now, I said tier lists because after this, I'm going to start working on the raid and dungeon tier list, but we're starting with this one, the DLCs. Now, I'm not doing all of the seasons in Destiny 2 simply because I just do not care. Like, I'm sorry, there are some seasons I do genuinely love, and it was really fun playing them, but when I look at seasons, they don't compare to a DLC for me, and I want to keep this strictly about the paid for DLCs. The order in which we are going to be ranking these is all the way from Destiny 1 in chronological order up until Destiny 2 Renegades. Now, with that said, let's get things started with D1 in its very beginning state. This is going to be a tough one for me to rank purely because I know it's not that good, but nostalgia is a bitch, and I played this when I was a kid and I absolutely loved it. So, okay, this is tough. If I had to go back and play it right now, it'd probably be a C tier. There just wasn't much to do. And like, you gotta keep in mind too, like when this first came out, Vault of Glass wasn't even a thing. Like, it had a couple strikes, the main campaign, which was not very long at all, and the Crucible. And that was pretty much all D1 in the early days had. But then if you do add things like Vault of Glass, if I had to play it now, I'd put it in C. But because of what it did, and because it is the start of everything, I think you have to give it B, purely because, like, if this, I know a lot of people will look back at the beginning days of D1 unfavorably, and rightfully so. It really was not that good, but you gotta keep in mind, like, there was something about it that kept people playing and is the reason why we got all of this down here. So you gotta put respect on its name. We're gonna put it in B, but it's probably at the tail end of B. All right, next up we got Dark Below. Now, Dark Below is a D. It's a D tier. It's a D tier. It's a D tier. I'm sorry. I love Dark Below. Soloing Crota was one of my favorite things to do. But you got to keep this in mind, right? Crota's End in Destiny 1 was a glorified strike. You could solo it with not really too much skill. As long as you had like the right weapons or a Celestial Nighthawk Hunter, you could solo it pretty easily. And the campaign, I don't know for sure. All I know is this was the shortest campaign I've ever played in Destiny history. Like, maybe even video game history. It was just a few missions, and you had, like, I think a couple strikes, maybe 1 or 2 strikes. I might be wrong on that, but it wasn't a lot. And then you got Crota's End, which, don't get me wrong, I do love Crota's End. Awesome raid. It was a strike back then, and I think for that reason, it was just so small. Now, for that reason, I think it's got to go D. I don't know if that's a hot take. It might be a hot take. I love the Dark Below, but it's definitely a D tier. All right, next up, now this is going to be the first hot take I have for the day. We got the House of Wolves, Destiny 1 House of Wolves. I think the House of Wolves is one of the best expansions we've ever gotten inside Destiny. Now, I'm going to take a quick second, let that simmer, let you process how you feel about that. All right, you good? Can we move on? I need to explain myself. Got it. Okay. The reason I think Destiny House of Wolves is one of the best expansions we've ever gotten is because the campaign was, in my opinion, even though it didn't really have anything to do with the broader story of what Destiny was telling at the time, and even looking back now, it was kind of like a side mission storyline that has really not that much to do. The one thing about it, though, was the campaign and then the story itself was really good. It was just a solid story, really cool story. But when you look at everything House of Wolves brought, it brought Prison of Elders, which came with Skolas and all that, and it also brought Trials of Osiris. And back in the day, Trials, especially in D1, was my shit, bro. It was my shit. I would play Prison of Elders to warm up the sticks, and then I'm hopping straight into Trials on the weekends. Like, it was such a peak time. The Reef too, the Reef was phenomenal as a play space. I still remember, like, that glitch where you could jump all the way down to the bottom floor. I remember in its heyday, I would jump down there and I'd watch tons of other people try to figure out how I did it, and they'd just keep jumping and dying next to me. That was pretty peak. And I want to put it in S. Now, notice I said want. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put it top of A. Now, the reason it's not an S is is because we didn't get a raid. If we got a raid, I guarantee you my hot take on House of Wolves would not be a hot take, and everyone would think it was one of the greatest expansions also. But because we did not get a raid, and I think if you have a DLC coming out, you need a raid to come with it. Now, dungeons is another thing, and I think you can kind of get away with it, but I definitely think you need an activity like that to be with a DLC. And that to me is the only reason why House of Wolves is not an S, because it just didn't have a raid. But now we get to the pinnacle, the peak of all things Destiny in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, the Taken King, ladies and gentlemen. What do I need to even say? It's the Taken King, bro. Like, it's top. I'm not even gonna like hover around anything. It's top of S. It's the best expansion in Destiny history. All you Forsaken fanboys, get the fuck out. Taken King. No, Taken King is legit the best Destiny expansion we've ever gotten. King's Fall might be the best raid we've ever gotten. The sheer amount of content we got with the Taken King. We got 3 new subclasses, one for all the missing elements on each character. So that'd be Solar Titan, Arc Warlock, and Void Hunter. The Dreadnought as a destination, one of the best destinations Bungie has ever made. The story, in my opinion, is tied for first when it comes to the best story ever told in Destiny. That campaign was phenomenal. And when we get to the DLC that I think it's tied with, I'll let you know, but it's tied for first place. We got so many exotics, so many strikes. Like, I can't express enough how peak being able to play the Taken King was back in the day. New enemy faction too with the Taken. Oh my gosh. It was absolute cinema. One of one, the best. I don't care if you disagree. Taken King is the shit. Now, to round out Destiny 1 and the ending of Destiny 1, we have the Rise of Iron. Rise of Iron is a tricky one for me to place because Siva is really, really cool. Wrath of the Machine is one of the best raids we've also ever gotten, and it is pissing me off that we'll never be able to see that in Destiny 2 ever. Felwinter's Peak as a social space was also really cool, being able to scale that mountain as like a little fun thing to do. Probably one of the best players social areas they've ever made. And we got the Return of Galahorn. The Plague Lands was really cool, and Archon's Forge as a fun little activity you could do while patrolling was also pretty cool. Where Rise of Iron kind of drags for me a bit was the story. It just felt a bit rushed. Writing could have been a lot better. Could have done a better job of building the world of the Iron Lords with Siva. That being said, though, I do really like Rise of Iron, and I think it's okay. This is where I'm debating. It's either bottom A or top of B. I'm leaning towards bottom A, and that's purely because of how much I love Siva and Wrath of the Machine. I think for that reason, it's gotta go bottom of A. Rise of Iron was a great expansion. It was a great experience. I think Rise of Iron being on the same level as Destiny 1 base is kind of crazy, so I gotta put it bottom of A. But now we got Destiny 2, the game that is about to die, and we're gonna be starting with the base Destiny 2. This is also another tricky one for me to place because gameplay wise, the base of Destiny 2, and keep in mind, I do want to preface this also before we get into these rankings. Destiny 2 base through Warmind, I have very limited play time with those. Very, very limited. I was very busy during this period of time, and I mainly played them at my friend's house because he owned them all and I didn't. So take what I say about Destiny 2 base, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind with a grain of salt. I did play them, so I do know some things, but it wasn't even on my account, so I don't know everything. With that being said, though, the gameplay of Destiny 2 was what hurt it the most. It was very slow paced at the start. Double primary slowed everything down and just did not feel right. There's a lot of systems in place at Destiny 2's base that just were stupid. That was just really dumb. Like the whole shaders thing, how shaders you could apply to each specific armor, something you couldn't do in Destiny 1, but you only had a limited supply of that shader. Once you used it on an armor piece, it was gone. So you had to like build up shaders, and there's also limited inventory space on how many shaders you could even hold. So it was like that. The whole fashion at the start of Destiny 2 was a nightmare. However, I do think the Red War campaign was really good. I know a lot of people don't look at it too fondly, but that beginning mission, dude, like that beginning mission was like the way it set Destiny 2 up was amazing. I think the Red War campaign was just, it was really good. It was a solid, very solid. You can make the argument it's a top 5 campaign. I would put it in my top 5 personally. Leviathan too, I did do that once. Leviathan was really, really cool. The weapons were all really cool. But again, you had the static roll weapons with 1 perk. I know the rated weapons could get 2 perks, which made them more interesting, but it was like still less than what Destiny 1 had. So I think for that reason, it's gotta go B tier. But I don't know if it's above Destiny 1 base or below it. At a core gameplay level, Destiny 1 had a beat. You had primary ammo weapons, you had special weapons, you had heavy weapons. You had some systems that I think were just built better at the start. I do think Destiny 2 base campaign was better than Destiny 1's. I do think Leviathan was a better raid than Vault of Glass, but I don't know. I think I like it behind Destiny 1 base. Purely for the fact that the gameplay was just really not it, and a lot of people stopped playing it because of that. Like Crucible was 4v4 and really slow pace. It was not it. There's a lot of issues with Destiny 2 at the start. So I think for that reason, it's gotta go behind Destiny 1. Like Destiny 1, people wanted to keep playing it even though there was a lack of content. Destiny 2 had more content, but people stopped playing it. So I think for that reason, it's gotta go behind Destiny 1 base, but there's definitely some bright moments from Destiny 2. But now we got Curse of Osiris. Oh boy. Okay, so Infinite Force, that was cool. Infinite Force was all right. Granted, like I said, I didn't really get to play it that much, and from what my friends told me, it got very old very quickly, very repetitive. Eater of Worlds was the quickest raid I've ever done in my life. I don't know if you can call that a raid. It was cool though. Like it looked really cool. And the final boss fight was actually really fun. But the story was just not really it. It didn't really address any of the issues Destiny 2 had at base. And there's a reason why we compare the lowest of lows to Curse of Osiris. It's because even Bungie themselves admitted that like they were weeks away from having to close the studio because of how bad Curse of Osiris got. So for that reason, and that like that alone, it is D tier. I think it's behind the Dark Below. Like I don't think anyone's really going to fight me on that. Were there some bright moments from Curse of Osiris? Of course there was. There were some good story beats from the campaign and missions. I think having Mercury and the Lighthouse as a playable social space was really cool, but it just didn't have that sauce, bro. It just did not. Like it just wasn't that great. So it's down there for sure. But now we have Warmind. Now Warmind's where they started to kind of turn things around. Story of Warmind was better than Curse of Osiris. Eater of Stars was a really fun raid, and I'm really glad I got to do it because I know not a lot of people did that raid. Introduced Elsa Bray, like she was a cool character. Like it was solid, but again, it didn't fix the core issues. Like it did do some good things. It just didn't fix the core issues though. And again, very limited. I had more time on Curse of Osiris than I did Warmind. So take what I'm saying here with a grain of salt when it comes to Warmind. But I think for me personally, I think Warmind is bottom of a B behind the base Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Definitely solid in its own right, but no standout DLC in my opinion. But here we go. Now we got Forsaken. Forsaken is also an S tier. Arguably, in my opinion, arguably second or third best expansion ever made. It fixed everything Destiny 2 did wrong, overhauled so many systems. The Last Wish raid, phenomenal. We got two destinations, the Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore, both really cool. Dreaming City definitely better, but both really cool. The story, absolutely phenomenal. I think I'd rate that campaign and the story it told as third best overall. It's the story we lost Cade. Aldrin was being corrupted. It introduced a lot of really cool characters like Spider too. Like Forsaken, just it was it, bro. Like that was phenomenal. It was the first dungeon we ever got to, and it was like a complete secret with the Shattered Throne. We got so much content with Forsaken and overhauled all the systems where you had primary ammo and special ammo and heavy ammo again, but they did things in a way where you could still run double primary if you wanted to, or you could run double special, or you could run a primary energy weapon and a kinetic special weapon. Like you could mix and match like you couldn't do before in Destiny 1. So they just took what they should have done all the entire time, but they took what was great about D1 system and just implemented on top of that and made it way better. Like Forsaken, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, even on top of a brand new raid, a brand new dungeon, a brand new campaign, two destinations, we also got 4 strikes. Like Forsaken was maybe the most content we've ever gotten in any DLC. I think maybe the Taken King is close, but honestly, Forsaken might be the most content we've ever gotten. Like Forsaken was nuts. But for me, I still think Taken King is the best expansion ever. So for right now, Forsaken is a solid second, but definitely deserving of an S tier. No question about it. But now we got Shadowkeep. Oh boy. Shadowkeep is not great. It's not great. I think a lot of people gave it grace because it was the first expansion Bungie made for after their split from Activision. So it was when they were fully independent. This was the first thing they made. So I think people look at it with some grace and knowing that like, hey, it's not going to be perfect. It's their first swing at it. So, you know, give them some time to really hone in on how to do this. But that doesn't excuse it not being great. Like the story was okay. Garden of Salvation, I actually don't mind that raid, but it's definitely not a great raid. We also got Pit of Heresy, which it's a dungeon. It's a dungeon. But yeah, I mean the campaign, it was just kind of short, not really too special, nothing really crazy going on with it. I don't know. It's definitely not a D tier expansion by any means, but it's not on par with up here. So it's definitely deserving of C tier, no question in my mind. Next up, Beyond Light, very controversial DLC. Start of the DCV. This is when they took out everything from Warmind and before. They also added the first Darkness subclass and Stasis, which was really cool, but that shit ruined PvP for long time until they fixed it. Like PvP was unbearable to play during Beyond Light. It was unbearable. The story in my mind was just okay. Also, like it wasn't anything crazy, but it wasn't anything special either. Like I don't know. I feel like Aramis as a villain was just kind of like like I hate the Traveler, Faris. Like I'm gonna use the pyramid and state. Like I don't really care. You're not that interesting to me. I don't know. Like Beyond Light's cool. Deepstone Crypt and Deepstone Lullaby, the music by the way, absolute cinema, absolute peak. That Deepstone Crypt is an amazing raid. That song is fantastic. Europa as a destination too was it was cool. It's a cool destination. It is cool, but I mean it's an ice planet. There's not much you can do with it. But for what it is, it was a solid destination. If I had to rank it though, it's definitely not A tier. I don't think it's as bad as Shadowkeep though. Would I put it above Warmind? I think I would. I would put it above Warmind. Where I'm struggling is it above Destiny 2's base or is it below it? I don't think it's above Destiny 1's base, but is it above Destiny 2's base? Oh man. You know what? No, I think it's below Destiny 2's base. Beyond Light was cool. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad experience, but I don't think it really beats Destiny 2 or Destiny 1 at base. All right, now we got the 30th anniversary pack. Now I Googled all Destiny DLCs and this popped up as one of them. And I guess, I mean, it is paid for downloadable content, so I guess it kind of counts. But anyway, we're gonna rank it. This to me is easy. I think it is an easy A, right between Rise of Iron and House of Wolves. The 30th anniversary pack, it just got a lot of things right. Grass of Avarice as a dungeon was a really cool first experience. I don't really like replaying it, but as a first experience, it was really good. We got the return of Galahorn, and when it first came back, it was actually really solid. Now it's kind of a support weapon, but back then it was actually a good weapon. We got a new activity like Dares of Eternity, which I actually think is one of Bungie's best activities ever made, and it's definitely one of their most fun activities to do. Like you're on a game show with Xur and a mystical horse. It's actually really solid. It's a very fun experience, and I actually like going back to it from time to time, just doing a couple runs. We got that dope ass tiger ornament too for every class. The anniversary pack was really solid. That little time stretch too of when that came out, the balancing in PvP, they had fixed a lot of stuff from Beyond Light, and PvP was a blast. It was so good. It might be the peak of PvP in Destiny 2. Like it was really solid during that time. And there's really, when I look at it, even though like we didn't get a new raid or anything like that, didn't really have a new story or anything else, there's nothing that the 30th anniversary pack did that was bad or you could look at and say I didn't like that. Like everything it did was good. So I think for that reason it's got to go up there, but it's never going to be the top echelon because it didn't have a campaign, didn't have a raid. It wasn't really an expansion. It was just a DLC. So that's why it's going to stay where it's at. But now we got Destiny 2 Witch Queen. Now here is my second hot take of the day. I don't think Destiny 2 Witch Queen is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that I don't like it that much. And it's not because I don't like it. I just think it is incredibly overrated. Like the story was cool. The story was good. It was a very compelling and interesting story, and it was a very unique campaign experience, and it wasn't really like any of the other campaign experience we've gotten up until this point. Val the Disciple, one of the greatest raids ever made. Savathun as a character was really cool. Crafting system came in with this, which I don't know how you feel about crafting. I think a system where crafting exists with RNG god rolls is the perfect system, and I actually really liked craftable weapons. I just don't think craftable weapons should have ever been part of like hard activities like raids or anything like that. I think craftable weapons should have stayed with just seasons and been that bridging point from world drop weapons to raid drop weapons, but obviously that's not what ended up happening. But I mean, the Witch Queen was really good. It was really good. I just don't think it's as good as everyone says it is. Like, I would not put it on the same level as a Taken King or Forsaken. With that being said, though, it's definitely towards the top of A. I don't know for me if it's above House of Wolves or below House of Wolves. Holy shit. Anyone who's a Witch Queen ride or die is going to hate me right now if I rank this below House of Wolves. You know what? Fuck you. It's my list. It's my list. It's below House of Wolves. I said it. I don't give a shit. Is that kind of crazy? Maybe, but it's my list, and I enjoyed playing House of Wolves personally more than Witch Queen, and that's that. Witch Queen is still solid though, so don't hate me too much. All right, now we got Lightfall. Lightfall is an interesting one because I think Lightfall did everything right but the story and the raid. Everything else though about Lightfall was amazing. I think Neomuna is one of the coolest destinations they've ever made. Strand as a subclass came out pretty well balanced, really fun, and is an incredible subclass, and it fits very well into the Destiny IP. And I think the gameplay during Lightfall was really solid. Like, the campaign missions themselves, say what you will about the story, what you're actually doing though, the campaign, the missions, I think was really good. Like, I really enjoyed how the campaign missions felt to play. Now, what Lightfall did very wrong was the story was really not good at all. I don't think it's as bad as some people say, but I know a bunch of people who watched Bife or Mylan back in the day know that Lightfall just did not make sense within the lore. And don't get me wrong, Nimbus is fucking annoying as shit, and I didn't even feel anything when Rohan died. And I think Callus kind of being the main antagonist of the story too was a bit out of left field. Like, this was supposed to be the Infinity War to the Final Shape's endgame. Like, this was supposed to be that ramp up into the Final Shape, and there were so many eyeballs during Lightfall. Like, so many people came to play it and try it out, and it missed the mark on so many things. But I actually don't think it's the worst DLC or one of the worst DLCs we've ever gotten. Like I said, the gameplay during that time, all the exotic missions, all the exotics we got, the Strike Hypernet Current, I think is what it's called, the one where you have to go into the VexNet. I think that's a very fun strike. Now, the raid, I do not care for. Any of my friends will tell you I absolutely despise this raid, even getting a day one completion on contest with it. To me, it's just a glorified strike, and my favorite part of the raid is that I can shadow skate through majority of it. Like, I do not like Ron. Root of Nightmares is a major letdown for me. I'm really struggling where to put this though, because that time period, I did enjoy playing the game, even though I freely admit, campaign, the narrative was not good. Root of Nightmares was not good, but Neomuna was cool. The gameplay was solid. Strand was incredibly fun and very well thought out and wasn't game breaking. I think for me personally, I would put it above Beyond Light. That might be kind of crazy, might be a little insane. I know no one even still knows what the hell the Veil is, but when I'm looking at it strictly from what did I enjoy playing, what did I like more, Stasis or Strand? For me, it's Strand. What destination did I like more, Europa or Neomuna? I liked Neomuna more. It was really cool. Obviously, I like Deepstone Crypt more than Root of Nightmares, but I mean, honestly, that's like the only thing I'd say Beyond Light does better than Lightfall, because Beyond Light's story I wasn't crazy on either. So for me, I think Lightfall's got to go there. I think Lightfall is middle of B, above Beyond Light. Definitely not the worst expansion like a lot of people say it was, but I really did not mind it. Like, I had fun playing it even though I knew the story was really bad. But now we got the Final Shape, the end game of Destiny 2. And I said earlier, the Taken King is tied for first when it comes to the best story narrative expansion I've ever played. And the other one that's tied for first right there with it is the Final Shape. To me, the Final Shape is the second best DLC Bungie has ever made. Now, I do not know if that is a hot take or not. To be completely honest, I don't know how the community feels about the Final Shape, but speaking for myself personally, I thought the way they ended this 10-year story was just really solid. Like, that ramp up of Into the Light, into Final Shape might be the best peak of Destiny 2 ever. Like, you're finally facing that big bad that you've been going against for 10 years straight. You're finally inside of the Traveler. You get to see what the Traveler is like, which, by the way, the Pale Heart as a destination, I think was really cool too. Like, it was so picturesque and beautiful at the start, and it had some weird things in it, but the more you continue on, the further you go, you start to see the Witness's corruption take place. And I thought that was just a really, really cool way to do the destination and to have it fit into the narrative so well. The campaign, the story, like I said, it's tied for first. I can't decide if the Taken King is better or the Final Shape is better. I enjoyed every single mission in the Final Shape. The Dread as a new enemy race was really, really cool. Salvation's Edge, while I agree with most of the player base, it's not the best because it's not that replayable. As a first time experience and running it for the first few times as well was incredible. I think Verity as an encounter was so well done and so well crafted. I know there's a lot of bugs with it, so maybe not well crafted, but when it's working properly, Verity is a really fun encounter. And this might be crazy, but I think the Witness is the best boss fight I've ever played personally, because there's not many boss fights that force you to move around or else you'll die because he's gonna kill you as he's attacking you, but it also allows you to frag out at the same time. Like, you can absolutely cook the Witness once you get his patterns down, but you have to constantly be moving and adjusting to his attacks. Like, I think it's such a well done encounter, especially with the countdown as he's about to enact the Final Shape, but you have to keep stunning him to damage him and interrupt his process. And it's really fun just having everyone run around, collecting the shape they need, breaking the wrists, shooting the buttons. That whole encounter involves everyone, and to me, it's just really well done. So I really enjoy Salvation's Edge. The strike we got with Final Shape was also really cool. Luminality, I think is what it's called. And after you finally beat the campaign, you get to go to the raid, and after you beat the raid, you have one last final mission with some of the best cutscenes in Destiny history, a 12-player activity where you go and you finally take down the Witness, sacrificing your ghost to do it, and then Cade sacrifices himself to save your ghost. And then you get that really cool cutscene with Crow, Zavala, and Ikora looking over the last city as you finally save them from the darkness. And you get that really cool cinematic showing Destiny over the years, ending with one of the coolest outros to any mission, any story ever, where you're just chilling in space looking at the Traveler. It was so well done. I thought it ended the narrative perfectly. I enjoyed every second of the Final Shape, getting guns like Kvostov back and Red Death, Ergo Sum, Microcosm. Like, there's still hunt. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much to love about the Final Shape. And when I really look at it, I don't really have too many gripes with the Final Shape at all. And in my opinion, it is right below the Taken King for one of the best expansions we have ever gotten inside Destiny ever. All right, next up, we got hold on, give me 1 minute. I better not see anyone disagree with what I just did. I better not see anyone disagree with what I just did. Edge of Fate is the biggest piece of shit. Oh, I might need to calm down before I talk about this one. Oh my gosh, fuck this shit expansion. Okay, all right. Edge of Fate, in my opinion, is the worst Destiny expansion ever made, and I think is a large reason as to why the game is shutting down here in a few days. You can make the argument that after the Final Shape, a lot of people saw that as the natural end of everything, which is a completely fair argument you can make. But Edge of Fate still had a chunk of players waiting to see what that next saga was going to be, and what Edge of Fate did was it took that player base, chopped them into millions of little pieces, sweep those pieces up, threw it into a dumpster, set it on fire, and then took a shit on top of it just to really rub it in. I can't even begin to describe how much I hate the Edge of Fate. I did not like the campaign at all. I hated the portal. I did not really like the tiering of loot. I did not like how grindy power was and how it was tied to the tiered loot. All the changes they made were not really well thought out and had a lot of issues, and that's why they had to keep reverting or changing or fixing so many of the issues. I have an entire video on everything I hate about Edge of Fate on this channel. If you want to go watch that and understand why I hate it so much, you can. But there are two things Edge of Fate did that I do like. I do like the narrative. I thought the narrative was decent. It was not anything spectacular. The best part of the entire narrative was by far Ikora's history and how that intertwined with Lodi. Lodi also standout character. I really enjoyed his character. And the raid, Desert Perpetual, was a solid raid. It's a very fun raid. I like that it's choose whatever you want to do. I like that it's every encounter is a boss fight. It basically is Pantheon the raid, but that is where my compliments of Edge of Fate will end. I had a friend who came back for the June 9th update recently. He bought Edge of Fate and Renegades, never played him though because of all the bad publicity it got. He asked me if I wanted to play Edge of Fate with him. I remember I agreed to do it with him purely because he's my friend. And the second I had to turn into a damn fucking ball, I went to orbit immediately, closed my app, and threw my PC out the fucking window. And I never played it with him ever again. And at the end of when he finally beat the campaign, he texted me and he said, "Holy shit, that was the worst fucking experience I've ever had in Destiny." So it's not just me. I don't think I'm gonna get too much hate for how much I hate Edge of Fate. I think it did so much irreprehensible damage to the game. Even though it did a couple things right, that does not outweigh the incredible amount of bad it did. But now we have reached the end of our DLC ranking and we have Renegades. Now, Renegades to me, in comparison to Edge of Fate, was a breath of fresh air. The dungeon equilibrium we got with Renegades, really cool. I think Lawless Frontiers, even though for me they don't have a ton of replayability, as an activity themselves, I do enjoy, although I mainly just do Invasion when I play it, and Invasion is really fun. I do really enjoy that. The exotic mission for the lightsaber was really cool. I know a lot of people aren't high on the Star Wars being inside their Destiny. I think it fits pretty well. I actually thought the way they handled the campaign and narrative and the heat weapons and all the Star Wars references were actually very tasteful. They did a very good job on not just using the Star Wars IP to sell more copies. I thought they did a very good job on that. But my gripes with Renegades are as follows. One, the campaign is the most repetitive campaign I have ever played. The first mission, really cool, really solid. Then you basically just do Lawless Frontiers over and over and over and over and over and over again until you finally get to the exotic mission to get the lightsaber, which is interwoven into the campaign, which is actually something I enjoyed. Just to go back to Lawless Frontiers over and over and over again until you finally reach the end mission of Renegades, which is also really, really good because it was an actual campaign mission. Number two, Renegades did not have a raid come out with it. Now, I think getting a dungeon and a really, really good dungeon at that makes up for it, but that's still a notch down in my book. And number three, it did not do really anything to fix the issues Edge of Fate brought. Most of the issues that were caused by Edge of Fate were fixed in patch notes leading up to Renegades and continuing after Renegades. Renegades did not come through and destroy the portal. Renegades did not get rid of the tiering system of loot. Renegades did not get rid of the armor archetype bullshit, and it just really did not do too much to fix the core issues the game was having. That being said though, like the lightsaber is really cool. I think the heat weapons are really cool. Equilibrium, solid dungeon, one of the better dungeons in my opinion. The campaign, there's 3 really solid missions in there. Everything else is just really bad, but the narrative was also really cool. I think Dredge and Bale as a character is one of the most intriguing characters we've ever gotten. Having a villain who lost his mother and then seeing his mother be resurrected by the light, but because you lose your memory when you become a guardian, his own mother did not recognize him, which caused him to hate the light, and then him partnering with a member of the Nine that twisted his brain and caused him to kind of become psychotic. I think him as a character was incredible. I wish we could have actually gotten to fight him or had something to do with his character. It's kind of sad we're never really going to have anything to do with his character going forward now, but he's a really well written character and a very solid character at that. But for me, I think Renegades is a middle of the pack, top of C. I think it's better than Shadowkeep, but all these expansions above it, I don't think Renegades is better than. The things it does right, it does very, very well, but there just wasn't that much content to do. And I think the campaign really sheds a light on that, because it has you just replay the activity that came with it over and over again, because they didn't have enough time or budget or manpower, whatever it was, to actually make a full-on campaign. Which I think if they did have more of an actual campaign tied to this, I think if they did take out at least the portal and they added a raid to come out with Equilibrium, like how a lot of old DLCs did, like Forsaken, for example, I think if that was the Renegade experience, Renegades would definitely be up here, no doubt. But because it didn't do that, and the standouts for me are the weapons, a few campaign missions, and a dungeon, I think that right there is deserving of C tier. Plus Lawless Frontiers is kind of mid, so it fits perfectly with C tier. But there you guys have it. That is my Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 DLC expansion, whatever you want to call it, tier list. This was a lot of fun to make, and now is the time where I want to hear your opinions on what you think is the best DLC, what you think is the worst, and also, and please, I ask you to do this respectfully, of course, let me know where you disagree in the comments below, because I'm curious to see how you would tweak things in my own list and why you don't agree with some of my takes. I already admit I have some hot takes in this video, like House of Wolves, Witch Queen, and Lightfall. I know those are hot takes where I have them ranked right now, but if you really disagree with how I rank them, let me know why you disagree. Don't just tell me I'm an idiot or something like that. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.